Imagine a world where every piece of clothing, every drape, every textile tells a story not just of fashion, but of history, innovation, and ingenious craftsmanship.
Hmm,
From the ancient robes of emperors to the cutting-edge innovations we wear every day, fabrics are, well, a silent language of human ingenuity.
indeed. And today, we're embarking on a truly deep dive into that very language. We're exploring a comprehensive glossary of fabrics and textile terms.
Okay.
Our mission, really, is to unpack the intricate details, how different textiles are made, what makes them unique,
Yeah.
and how their characteristics have shaped their uses across millennia, influencing, everything from daily life to grand historical events.
Our source material for this exploration is this fascinating compilation, a detailed glossary of fabrics and textile terms, which even includes historical notes derived from extensive research.
Hmm.
It feels a bit like a secret shortcut, to becoming exceptionally well-informed about the very threads that weave our world together. It offers practical insights and this really rich historical tapestry, too.
We'll be looking at two distinct yet interconnected realms. There are the contemporary fabric descriptions, often tied to modern uses and technological advancements,
Okay.
and then a surprisingly rich collection of medieval textile terms, providing a fantastic historical perspective.
Oh, interesting.
What's truly fascinating here is seeing how some core principles of fabric creation have remained steadfast through the ages, while others have evolved dramatically, reflecting changing human needs, technologies, and, well, aesthetics.
Okay, let's unpack this first, maybe by stepping into the present. Our source begins with a section that feels very much like a practical guide,
Yeah.
maybe for someone choosing fabrics for a sewing project, highlighting their modern characteristics and common uses.
Yeah.
This is where we start to kind of touch and feel the fabric just by reading its description.
Precisely. This initial part focuses heavily on the sensory experience and the practical application of fabrics. It meticulously defines their hand, how they feel to the touch.
Right, the hand.
Their drape, how they fall and move, and their suitability for various garments. It's less about the historical production methods, really, and more about the final product's feel, aesthetic, and utility in today's world.
So kicking us off, we encounter boucle. The source tells us it's derived from the French word for curl. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a loosely woven fabric made with looped, curly yarns, creating this rich, multi-dimensional texture. It can be single or multicolored. And just reading about it, you can almost feel that distinct nubbly surface.
That curl is absolutely paramount to boucle's unique texture. The looped yarns are deliberately designed to stand out, creating that visual depth and a tactile interest that's, well, instantly recognizable.
Yeah.
This multidimensionality isn't just aesthetic either. It allows the fabric to trap air, potentially making it quite warm and insulating despite its often airy appearance.
Oh, right.
When you imagine a chic, perhaps Chanel-inspired jacket or a cozy yet elegant throw, that distinctive irregular surface is quintessential boucle. It's a fabric that demands attention, inviting both visual and tactile exploration, and it's celebrated for its sophisticated, slightly artisanal look.
And from those soft curls, we shift gears dramatically to something with a distinctly rugged character, tweed.
Ah, tweed.
Our source defines it as a medium to heavyweight wool or wool blend fabric, typically rough and unfinished. It's most often crafted in a plain or twill weave, featuring popular designs like houndstooth, herringbone, and various multicolored patterns. It's almost its textural opposite to boucle, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The contrast is stark, highlighting the incredible diversity within fabrics. Tweed's historical connection is quite telling. It was originally developed and used for leisure class hunting in the often chilly Scottish, English, and Irish countryside.
Right, for the outdoors.
This origin immediately points to its inherent qualities: remarkable durability, warmth, and resistance to the elements. The unfinished style isn't a flaw. It speaks to a rugged natural aesthetic that has, perhaps surprisingly, been embraced by high fashion.
Yeah, it's everywhere now.
From its humble utilitarian beginnings, it transformed into a symbol of classic British country wear, intellectual chic, and enduring designer suits. Its robust character and visual patterns have given it remarkable staying power in fashion cycles, signifying both tradition and a certain understated elegance.
Having explored the robust world of wools like tweed, let's now glide into an entirely different realm, a fabric that seems to almost defy gravity. Next, we have chiffon.
Ooh, chiffon.
Our source says it's produced with the finest silk yarn available, called hair silk.
Hair silk, yeah.
And it's highly spun, 2S, 2Z, in both warp and weft, using a plain weave. The result is a fabric that's very fine, transparent, soft, and vaporous.
The term hair silk is a key indicator here, emphasizing the extreme fineness of the threads, while the 2S2Z refers to the specific high-twist spinning method of the yarns.
Okay.
These precise techniques are crucial as they directly contribute to chiffon's ethereal, almost weightless quality. The high twist prevents the fibers from lying flat, giving chiffon its slightly textured yet incredibly smooth feel and its signature transparency. You really picture it floating.
Exactly. When you picture a flowing evening gown or a delicate scarf that seems to drift in the air with every breath, you are visualizing chiffon's unique properties. Its sheer diaphanous nature makes it perfect for layering, creating subtle, shifting effects, and adding an element of delicate romance to garments. It's a fabric that often plays with light and shadow.
Now let's pivot back to something with significant substance: cotton canvas.
Meh? Yes, sturdy stuff.
It's characterized by its Panama weave, which gives it that classic raw effect. Our source tells us it comes in various weights, from light for clothing to very heavy for bags or furniture, with yarn size varying directly by its weight.
Right.
It's described as very beautiful and natural, with a quite strong hand.
The Panama weave, sometimes called a basket weave, is what gives cotton canvas its distinctive, almost checkered texture and its inherent strength. That's because multiple threads are woven together as one unit in both warp and weft.
I see, so it's like weaving with thicker strands. In a way, yes. And this strength, coupled with its natural aesthetic and the versatility of different weights, makes it incredibly adaptable. You truly do see it everywhere.
Oh, definitely. Bags, jackets.
From a sturdy summer jacket or a casual pant to heavy-duty utility items like outdoor upholstery, durable tote bags, and even artist canvases. Its strong hand speaks to its durability and resilience, ensuring it maintains its shape and stands up to rigorous use while still offering a very natural, appealing finish.
Then there's cotton satin stretch, also known as satin stretch or sateen stretch. This fabric is made with a dense, pure cotton warp and a cotton weft spun with elastomer, using a satin weave. It has a semi-lustrous appearance, suggesting a blend of elegance and comfort.
The inclusion of elastomer here is a clear modern innovation that fundamentally transforms the fabric's utility. Elastomer, that synthetic fiber known for its excellent elasticity and recovery properties, is what gives this fabric its stretch.
Right, the stretch factor.
It provides exceptional comfort and flexibility that natural fibers alone cannot achieve. Combined with the satin weave, which inherently creates a polished, semi-lustrous look by having many warp threads floating over weft threads.
That smooth surface.
Cotton sateen stretch beautifully bridges the gap between elegance and practicality. This makes it highly suitable for versatile garments like structured yet comfortable dresses, tailored trousers, jackets, and even lightweight overcoats, lending itself equally well to both elegant and sporty styles. It offers both a refined look and freedom of movement.
And speaking of modern innovation, let's discuss crepe microfiber. Each thread in this fabric comprises hundreds of filaments, very tightly spun.
Microfiber.
It combines the characteristic softness and practicality of microfiber with a crisp touch, and notably, it's water washable, fade resistant, and retains its look and texture remarkably well. Sounds very user-friendly.
This fabric is a prime example of how modern textile technology directly addresses contemporary user needs for convenience, durability, and low maintenance. The hundreds of tightly spun filaments create an incredibly dense yet soft fabric. Its inherent properties, resistance to shrinking, stretching, creasing, and fading, along with its ability to retain its original look and texture even after repeated washing, make it an ideal choice for the demands of a busy lifestyle.
Makes sense.
It's perfect for a wide range of everyday garments like dresses, trousers, suits, skirts, and overcoats, where longevity and ease of care are highly valued. It offers the luxurious feel of natural fibers, but with the functional benefits of advanced synthetics.
Following that, we have crepe satin, which also goes by satin or crepe sateen. It's a crepe fabric with a satin weave, where the warp is lustrous silk and the weft is matte silk crepe, spun alternating S and Z twists.
Ah, the S and Z twists.
Its fundamental characteristics are lightness and fluidity. The satin side is usually the outside, but the reverse, with its slight orange peel aspect, can also be used, offering versatility.
This fabric is a masterclass in dual aesthetics, providing incredible design freedom. The S and Z twists refer to the direction the yarns are spun. When yarns are spun in one direction, S twist, and then another in the opposite direction, Z twist, and then woven together, it creates that subtle, crinkled, or pebbled texture characteristic of crepe.
Okay, so that's the crepe part.
Precisely. The contrasting lustrous silk warp and matte silk crepe weft, combined with the versatility of using either the shiny satin side or the more subtly textured orange peel reverse, provide designers with a rich palette for expression.
You get two lifts in one.
Exactly. Its inherent lightness and fluidity mean it drapes beautifully, lending itself to virtually any cut or style, from delicate underwear and blouses to opulent evening wear or even sophisticated bridal gowns, showcasing its remarkable adaptability and refined character.
We're staying in the crepe family with crepe de chine. This one has a shiny silk warp with a high twist silk crepe weft, alternating 2S2Z in a plain weave.
Another class.
The matte weft intentionally contrasts the warp's shine, and that particular twist gives it a distinct, bubbly, orange peel look.
The interplay of the shiny warp and the matte, highly twisted weft, along with that unique bubbly or subtly rippled texture, provides a beautiful depth and visual interest that sets it apart from smoother silks.
It sounds quite textured.
It has a subtle texture, yes. This deliberate contrast and characteristic texture, combined with its luxurious silk composition, make it particularly suitable for garments where elegant drape and a nuanced surface are desired. It's often chosen for graceful shirts, flowing chemisiers, and dresses, especially those designed with soft drape styles where its unique surface can catch the light and enhance the garment's movement. It offers a refined yet understated elegance.
Now, let's explore a truly artistic category, laces embroidery. Our source groups together several distinct types: chantilly, macrame, rebrodé, and embroidered tulle. These are all openwork fabrics with ornamental patterns, either embroidered on a netting base or created by knotting or twisting threads. It's like fabric transformed into delicate sculpture.
This category truly demonstrates the artistic and highly decorative aspect of textiles, where simple bases are meticulously transformed into intricate works of art. Let's break down a few examples. Chantilly lace, of classic French origin, is renowned for its delicate beauty.
Oh yeah, chantilly is famous.
It's crafted on a fine tulle base with elegant scalloped edges, light, impalpable, and transparent. Its signature floral garland patterns are incredibly intricate, making it one of the most beloved choices for wedding dresses, where its fragility and exquisite beauty contribute to an ethereal bridal aesthetic.
And then macrame lace, with its Moorish origin, created by knotting threads without needles or hooks. Its designs can be floral or geometric, often featuring distinct 3D effects.
Macrame's unique knotting technique creates a more substantial, often strikingly three-dimensional effect, which provides a textural depth distinct from the fine delicacy of chantilly. This technique allows for bold, raised patterns.
So it's much heavier, maybe.
Often, yes. It feels more substantial. It's widely used for bodices, unique overlays, and wedding dresses, often doubled with contrasting fabrics to highlight its unique motifs and add a sculptural element. The craftsmanship involved is very different, relying on intricate hand knotting rather than weaving or needle embroidery.
Rebrodé lace, hailing from the Middle East, features relief embroidery on a light base or tulle. It's named for the distinct cord that outlines and enhances its motifs for a raised effect, giving it a very elegant and feminine feel.
The rebrodé cord is indeed its defining characteristic, literally raising the design off the fabric surface. This creates a remarkable tactile and visual depth, making the motifs truly pop.
Like 3D embroidery.
Exactly. This technique is immensely popular in bridal ateliers for creating intricate floral inlays on backs, sleeves, and décolleté, often achieving that stunning tattoo effect on the skin, where the lace patterns seem to float directly on the body. It's all about creating a dramatic, sculpted, and highly luxurious look.
Finally, within this category, embroidered tulle and tulle with applications. Tulle itself is a very light, transparent fabric with small hexagonal meshes, making it a perfect, almost invisible base for intricate embroidery, sequins, beads, rhinestones, jays, or embossed applications. Our source notes the tulle can sometimes disappear entirely into the richness of the decorations.
The evanescent nature of tulle makes it an ideal canvas for embellishment, effectively acting as a nearly invisible support.
Right, you just see the sparkle.
Precisely. This allows the sequins, beads, rhinestones, and embroidery to take center stage, creating fabrics that are pure brilliance and light, often dazzling in their complexity. This transformation from a simple mesh to a richly adorned textile highlights the collaborative artistry involved in high-end design, where the base fabric recedes to allow the ornamentation to shine. Collectively, the historical origins mentioned across these laces also hint at a deep global exchange of textile craftsmanship techniques over centuries, moving from Europe to the Middle East and North Africa. They're all, of course, perfect for wedding dresses, special occasion dresses, and evening gowns, where spectacle, intricacy, and an element of preciousness are desired.
Moving on, we have Mikado. This is described as a precious fabric from an ancient Japanese silk processing technique, making it slightly grainy on the surface but incredibly shiny and extraordinarily bright. It's even named after the Emperor of Japan, hinting at its revered status.
Mikado is truly unique.
Its structure involves a stiff drape of raw silk warp, playing with the softness of the weft. A double-weft weave where the warp provides support and stiffness typical of luxury fabrics, while the weft softens and gives shine. Sounds complex.
It is. Mikado is truly a unique and highly engineered fabric, a testament to the cultural significance and meticulous craftsmanship deeply embedded in Japanese textile history. The ancient Japanese silk processing technique likely refers to methods for treating silk that enhance its natural luster and create that characteristic slight graininess while maintaining remarkable stiffness.
So it holds its shape really well.
Extremely well. Its engineered structure, with the raw silk warp providing robust support and stiffness and the weft adding that dazzling shine, is specifically designed for dramatic, sculptural looks. Unlike flowing silks, Mikado allows designers to create garments with significant volume, defined shapes, and architectural silhouettes.
No, man.
It makes it excellent for bold, impactful pieces like structural wedding dresses, high-fashion evening gowns, or elaborate ceremonial wear where a strong, elegant statement is desired. It's a fabric that commands presence.
Next, there's muslin, a plain woven fabric, very light and airy, made from fine, all-natural cotton yarns. It boasts a fantastically soft drape and exceptional comfort, particularly for warmer climates.
Muslin's inherent simplicity and its reliance on fine, all-natural cotton fibers are its greatest strengths. Its lightness and remarkable breathability make it an ideal choice for comfortable, airy garments, especially in warmer climates, or for lightweight layers.
Very practical.
Very. The fact that it can be used in several layers for dresses or skirts while still maintaining its almost impalpable quality and soft drape speaks to its versatility for creating flowing, comfortable designs like blouses, tunics, and summery dresses. It's a fundamental, honest fabric that prioritizes natural comfort and a gentle, natural hand.
Then we have organza. It's a plain weave, thin, transparent fabric with a stiff hand.
Yeah.
Its fundamental characteristic, as our source notes, is that stiff hand created by the saracen, or the outer part of the silk, also called raw silk. It typically has a matte appearance.
This is a fascinating point about organza. Saracen is the natural gum that coats silk fibers, and it's often removed during the processing of other silks to achieve a soft, lustrous drape. However, in organza, the saracen is deliberately retained, or the raw silk is specially treated, to give it its signature crispness and body.
So it's naturally stiff.
Exactly. This allows it to hold shape and create volume, making it quite distinct from other transparent silks like chiffon. Its transparency and matte appearance, combined with this stiffness, make it incredibly versatile for dressmaking interpretations, from adding structured volume to blouses, to creating dramatic silhouettes in bridal gowns, and elegant ceremony dresses where a sheer yet architectural effect is desired.
Let's talk about poplin. This is a very classic cotton fabric, traditionally in a canvas weave, available in various weights for dresses or shirts. Yarns are usually thin and of the same size in warp and weft, though thicknesses can vary to create different effects.
Poplin's a staple.
It's described as a compact fabric with a shiny appearance and a fresh, very natural hand. It can be produced with single or double twisted yarns and is known for being very comfortable and pleasant to wear.
Poplin is truly a versatile workhorse fabric, a staple in many wardrobes. Its compact nature, often achieved through a higher warp count, gives it a subtle ribbed effect across the fabric.
Oh, I think I know that feel.
Yes, it's quite distinct. This, coupled with its shiny appearance and a natural, fresh hand, makes it an exceptionally comfortable and pleasant fabric for everyday wear across a wide range of garments. The different weights and yarn twists highlight its adaptability for everything from crisp, structured shirts that hold their collar shape to more flowing dresses and skirts, always prioritizing comfort, durability, and a clean, refined finish. It's a testament to how a simple weave and good quality cotton can create such a broadly appealing textile.
Finally, for our modern lexicon, taffeta. Modern description. It's a fine fabric made with yarn-dyed organzino yarn in both warp and weft using a plain weave. It has a semi-lustrous aspect and a sustained, crisp hand. One of its most distinctive characteristics is the typical rustling sound, often described as a shush that pure silk taffeta makes when the wearer moves.
Ugh, the taffeta rustle. That rustling sound, that audible shush, is a truly delightful and distinctive quality that adds to taffeta's luxurious and dramatic appeal.
It really does.
It's a unique sonic signature that immediately conveys movement, presence, and a certain theatricality. The term organzino yarn refers to a specific type of silk yarn that is tightly twisted multiple times, giving it strength and resilience.
Okay.
When this yarn is yarn dyed, meaning the yarns are dyed before weaving, which creates a deeper, more integrated color, and then woven in a plain weave, it results in a semi-lustrous, crisp hand.
So it holds structure, too.
Yes, very much so. This makes taffeta excellent for creating dresses, structured jackets, sophisticated bridal gowns, and refined evening dresses, where a bold, sculptural, and audibly distinctive fabric is desired, adding an element of grand drama to any garment.
What's truly fascinating here is how these descriptions are so tactile and visual, guiding you to imagine the fabric just from a few words. It's not just about what it's made of, but how it feels and moves and even what it sounds like. It really brings the fabric to life, almost as if you're holding it.
Absolutely. This section highlights the highly refined language of modern textile design, which deeply emphasizes practical properties, comfort, and the overall aesthetic effect for the end user. The addition of innovations like elastomer for stretch and several fabrics is a clear, modern marvel focused squarely on enhanced wearability, ease of movement, and shape retention.
The stretch.
Something we simply don't see in older textiles. It signifies a fundamental cultural shift towards functionality and dynamic lifestyles without sacrificing elegance. What's truly striking here is how modern fabrics cater to a fast-paced, convenience-driven lifestyle. They're engineered to perform under specific conditions, simplify our lives with features like washability and fade resistance, and adapt seamlessly to our movements, reflecting a fundamental cultural shift from earlier eras where durability and status were often the sole paramount concerns.
A really different set of priorities.
Definitely. Now, if the first section was about the cutting-edge present, we're about to step into a fascinating time machine.
Okay, here we go.
The next part of our source plunges us into the rich, intricate world of medieval fabrics, spanning roughly 900 to 1600 AD. It's important to note the source's caveat. These are very short descriptions gathered from many different books, and their exact use in later eras isn't always verified.
Right.
This makes them especially valuable glimpses into specific moments in textile history, providing a snapshot rather than a continuous, unbroken narrative.
So, given these historical snapshots, how do we approach understanding these ancient materials? What do these snippets tell us about the past?
It means we're dealing with historical fragments, each revealing a small but significant piece of a much larger, complex textile economy and culture. We can categorize these by their composition, their weave techniques, and crucially, their societal role, whether they were for royalty, commoners, or for specific purposes. The details, even sparse, tell us a tremendous amount about the technical sophistication, the extensive trade routes, and the intricate social stratification of the time, where fabric often dictated one's place in society.
Let's start with a cordolante, also known as a corderati or a cordolati. This is a ribbed fabric of Milanese origin, produced by combining varied proportions of fine linen and heavier cotton threads in the warp with a thinner, even cotton weft. The source tells us the ribs ran the length of the fabric.
What's truly remarkable here are the precise ratios of fibers. For instance, the source notes that single-ribbed cordolante had a warp ratio of 12 linen threads to 3 cotton.
Wow, that's specific.
Oh, yes. While a double-rigged variant called a corderati zermelli used 12 linen to 2 cotton warps. There were even dense and thickly woven versions, a corderati specie, with 8 linen to 4 cotton warps.
That's incredible detail.
These varying rib densities and fiber ratios aren't arbitrary. They indicate a sophisticated understanding of material properties. Medieval weavers weren't just throwing fibers together, they were engineering fabrics to achieve specific characteristics for different qualities or price points, illustrating a highly specialized early textile industry.
Like medieval material science.
Exactly. It's like a medieval textile engineer meticulously blending fibers to achieve a precise texture or durability, much like how modern performance fabrics are engineered today for specific uses, whether it's athletic wear or high-tech outdoor gear. This level of intentional design is quite striking.
Next, astrakhan in its medieval context. Originally, this referred quite literally to the skins of very young lambs from Astrakhan, Russia, and was highly prized for muffs, collars, and coats. But then it evolved, indicating a significant shift in textile production.
This is where it gets really interesting, showing an early form of textile innovation mimicking natural materials. The source tells us that from the late 1800s to the present, an imitation fur emerged, made from wool or silk, often with cotton, and now increasingly with synthetics.
An early faux fur.
Essentially, yes. A 1923 dictionary described it as a woolen or silk material of considerable warmth having a long, closely curled pile that imitates the fur of the real Astrakhan lamb.
Amazing.
The evolution from using actual animal fur to meticulously crafted textile imitations demonstrates early efforts in creating synthetic or mimetic textures driven by fashion trends, the desire for warmth, and perhaps ethical or cost considerations. It was widely used for outer garments like coats and capes, for luxurious trimming, linings, hats, collars, muffs, and scarves, and was sometimes also called Persian lamb. It's a fascinating precursor to today's ubiquitous faux furs, showing a continuous human desire for specific textures regardless of the original source.
Moving on to Atlas. Our source describes this as medieval silk satin, manufactured in considerable quantities in Western Europe in the 1600s, with variants also acquired from Turkey and Persia. The glossary even notes a fascinating linguistic detail. By 1882, the German, Dutch, Russian, Polish, and Danish words for satin were all Atlas.
The fact that Atlas itself became synonymous with satin across so many different languages truly highlights its widespread recognition and immense prestige as a luxurious silk fabric.
It was the word for satin.
It really was. This wasn't just a regional specialty, it was a globally recognized mark of quality. Its production in significant quantities in Western Europe, alongside imports from Turkey and Persia, speaks to the vibrant international trade networks and the immense demand for high-quality silks during that period. It wasn't just a fabric, it was a symbol of opulence, wealth, and sophisticated craftsmanship, much like cashmere or bespoke suits are today. Its very name encapsulated the essence of high-quality satin.
And then Baldachin, or Baldachin, originating from Baghdad, the Italian name being Baldacco. By 1293, later usage referred to a special fabric made in Italy, which might have been termed half-silk, meaning it had a silk ground woven over a base of linen or hemp in one warp system.
This blend is a particularly fascinating insight into medieval material science and resourcefulness. By cleverly combining a less expensive, stronger base like linen or hemp with luxurious silk, they could create a fabric that was more accessible than pure silk, but still incredibly impressive and visually rich.
Like a luxury blend.
Exactly. It speaks to a pragmatic approach to luxury, making a desirable fabric available to a broader, though still privileged, segment of society, rather than just the absolute elite. This practice of blending fibers for cost efficiency, specific properties like durability, or to extend the reach of precious materials is a recurring theme throughout textile history, showcasing ingenuity and resource management.
Let's discuss baize. Baize. Our source specifies that pre-1600s, it weighed half as much or less than broadcloth and woolens, and importantly, it had a warp of combed wool and a weft of carded wool. We even have specific weights cited. Double baize at 0.36 pounds U-yard ET, and single baize at 0.22 poundis go-yard E.
The detailed weight and thread count regulations, like the Flemish baize being sold in 3 sorts based on threads used, 80 baize for the finest, 60 for medium, and 40 for the worst or ordinary, demonstrate a remarkably sophisticated system for standardizing cloth quality and regulating trade in the late medieval period.
Quality control back then.
Absolutely. This wasn't just casual weaving by individuals. It was an organized industry with clear quality tiers, crucial for ensuring fair commerce and building consumer trust across long-distance trade routes. The distinction between combed and carded wool for warp and weft also highlights an understanding of how different fiber preparations affect strength and texture, showing a purposeful design.
Broadcloth is next. This was a wide woolen cloth, varying in width, but generally around 2 yards, an English cloth yard being 37 inches. It was manufactured in a wide range of qualities. Our source provides meticulous details about quality metrics, like a 1458 sample from Toulouse, England, being a tabby weave chiseled on both sides with good middle quality at 312 threads per centimeter.
The meticulous regulation of dimensions and weight across different regions and qualities highlights broadcloth's immense economic importance and widespread use, from high-end aristocratic garments to everyday utilitarian purposes.
It was a big deal economically.
Huge. For example, late medieval Flanders broadcloth was a substantial piece, typically 32 yards long by 2.75 yards wide, weighing approximately 46 pounds of warp and 48 pounds of weft. This level of detail shows that trade standards were incredibly specific, reflecting the fabric's critical role in the economy and the need for clear benchmarks for quality and pricing.
Imagine the arguments over measurements.
Oh, I'm sure. Imagine medieval textile markets buzzing with merchants, haggling over these precise specifications. It wasn't just about beauty, but about strict economic compliance and preventing fraud in a critical industry. This reveals a surprisingly modern approach to quality control.
Now to frieze. Frieze. Our source says it's from Old English frieze, meaning nap of cloth, and was generally considered an inferior or low-priced mixed woolen worsted cloth in English customs accounts. We even learned that Edward III in 1376 exempted friezeware from ownage duty if it was made in England or Ireland of Irish wool.
The variations in quality and its exemption from certain taxes, as seen with Edward III in 1376, strongly suggest its role as a common, accessible fabric for the general populace.
More for everyday folk.
Exactly. Unlike the highly regulated broadcloth, frieze was a more everyday textile. Welsh friezes, for instance, were specifically regulated in a 1551 act, detailing a whole piece to be 36 yards long, 34-yard wide, and weighing 48 pounds after fulling. This detailed regulation for a low-price fabric showcases a practical side of textile production geared towards widespread consumption, rather than just luxury goods. It was the everyday fabric for many, used for simple coats, doublets, gowns, and even nightgowns, sometimes fur-lined for warmth. Its prevalence speaks to the practical needs of the wider population.
Then there's fustian, a term derived from Arabic. It originally denoted a heavy cotton cloth with a linen warp, but also generically came to mean all cotton cloths. The source notes that fustian of Naples in 1578 weighed 0.23 pounds per square yard, indicating its substantial nature.
Fustian's widespread use across social strata, from French villagers and townsmen in 1210 to monastic orders, speaks to its remarkable versatility and affordability. It truly bridged utilitarian and somewhat refined uses.
So it was really common.
Very. The petition from Norwich weavers in 1554 to call their product Norwich fustian, using fine-spun cotton imported from the Turkey Company, illustrates regional specialization and the pursuit of quality even for common fabrics. This shows a growing, competitive textile industry eager to establish its own reputation for specific textile types. It's an excellent example of a fabric that became a staple for its durability and relatively low cost, facilitating everyday wear for a broad range of people.
Next up, kersey, an English true fulled woolen, coarser than broadcloth but often similar in weight and cost. It became cheaper in later periods and was much smaller than broadcloth, typically 18 yards by 4/4 yard wide, with 38 pounds of wool in the piece.
Kersey's characteristics and the regulatory attempts to control its dimensions, like John May's mention of it being strained to nail in breadth and a yard in length when tentering.
Strained. What does that mean?
It reveals the economic pressures and quality control issues inherent in a burgeoning textile industry of the time. This straining or overstretching was a common abuse where manufacturers would stretch the cloth on frames, known as tenters, to make it appear longer or wider than it actually was.
Cheating the system.
Pretty much, thereby increasing their profits but reducing the fabric's quality and durability. This highlights the challenges of maintaining quality and ethical practices in a pre-industrial manufacturing era and gives us a glimpse into the difficulties faced by both producers and consumers in ensuring product integrity.
Now, lawn in its medieval context. From the 1550s onwards, this was a fine, delicate linen used for intimate garments like smocks, for decorative sleeves, and prominently for Elizabethan ruffs and cutwork, where its sheerness was highly valued.
What's particularly interesting about lawn is its later transition. While originally a fine linen, the source notes that in the 1800s, some cotton fabrics were given the name lawn, like Victoria lawn or French lawn.
So the name carried over.
Exactly. This highlights the historical fluidity of material definitions and commercial strategies, where the industry would consciously try to make things sound better or more luxurious to market them more effectively to consumers.
Marketing spin.
Pretty much. It shows how names and associations could evolve beyond the original fiber content, driven by fashion trends and marketing ploys, signifying a broader shift in fiber availability and textile production. It was a testament to how the desire for delicate, fine fabrics persisted, even if the material changed.
Our journey takes us to samite, also called samatom, a fabric dating back to the first millennium. It was usually a polychrome, weft-faced compound tulle silk, though rare monochrome varieties also existed. Interestingly, its composition could vary, also including silk and extra fine woolen, or cotton and coarse wool, with later versions even having a main warp of linen or hemp.
Samite represents a highly sophisticated and often exceptionally luxurious medieval textile. Its complex description, a weft-face compound twill silk, points to incredibly advanced weaving techniques that allowed for intricate patterns and multiple layers of threads to create rich, dense fabrics.
Sounds very high-end.
Oh, absolutely top tier. The strategic blending of fibers like silk with wool, cotton, linen, or hemp wasn't just about cost. It pointed to efforts to achieve specific visual effects, different textures, and likely to make a precious fabric more durable or accessible to slightly broader segments of the elite. It was a textile that visually announced status and wealth, often used for ecclesiastical vestments, royal garments, and elaborate furnishings, signifying unparalleled craftsmanship and artistry.
Let's talk about sendal or sendal. Unlike most other silks of its time, sendals were frequently piece-dyed, not yarn-dyed. By 1382, it was specifically allowed to be raw silk in both warp and weft, and a dressing of millet flour and water was even permitted for broad and narrow white sendals.
Sendal's unique dyeing method piece-dyed rather than yarn-dyed, and its raw, unboiled silk nature distinguished it significantly from the more refined silks of the era.
This may be less refined?
Perhaps, yes. This hints at a different aesthetic or functional purpose, perhaps for simpler linings, undergarments, or a specific visual effect where a slightly less polished look was desired. The description from 1598, calling it a thin stuff like sarcenet, and of a raw, unboiled silk kind of silk or sarcenet, but coarser and narrower, solidifies its identity as a less formal yet still silk-based fabric.
And the millet flour.
The allowance for a dressing of millet flour and water also points to practical finishing techniques to give the raw silk more body or stiffness, showcasing an interesting blend of natural materials and simple processing for desired characteristics.
And then taffeta. Medieval description taffeta. This is probably a tabby weave, typically 103 centimeters wide, with 39 warp threads per centimeter, and it could even incorporate gold or silver bands.
Yeah.
Lucca, 1376, taffeta originally had warps of pure cooked silk, but by 1372, raw warp was also used for taffeta and other plain weave silks.
The shift from exclusively cooked silk to also incorporating raw silk in its warp and its wide availability from various prominent trade centers like Istanbul and Western Europe indicates its versatility and importance as a foundational silk fabric.
So it was widely traded.
Very much so. It was highly adaptable, used for general purposes like lining costly garments and coverlets, but sometimes for entire garments, showing its utility across different applications. The presence of gold or silver bands also speaks to its luxurious potential, despite its plain weave, indicating it could be elevated for ceremonial or high-status uses.
Right.
The meticulous detail about its width and thread count further emphasizes the standardization and trade that occurred across different regions. It was a staple in medieval silk production, demonstrating both utility and luxury.
Finally, we arrive at velvet, or velluti. This was a highly prized fabric, categorized as fine and less than fine, both requiring a pure cooked silk warp. The source gives very specific distinctions between the two. Fine velvet, for instance, was 59 centimeters wide, with at least 3 main warp and 1 pile warp per dent, along with stringent rules for the weft material.
Extremely specific rules.
Less than fine velvet had lower thread counts and could use pure cooked flax or cotton for the weft.
The precise definitions for fine versus less than fine velvet, including intricate details like thread counts and permissible weft materials, such as flax or cotton, highlight the meticulous standards and immense value placed on this truly luxurious fabric.
They really cared about the quality differences.
Absolutely. This detailed breakdown also shows how blending less expensive fibers could create more accessible versions of highly prized textiles, again illustrating the ingenuity in balancing luxury with practicality and cost, thereby making it available to a broader range of the wealthy, not just the absolute pinnacle of society.
So even the less than fine was probably still pretty nice.
Oh, undoubtedly still a luxury item. Both plain, checkered, and figured variations existed, indicating significant artistic complexity and the ability to create varied designs on this rich pile fabric. Velvet was a clear indicator of status and luxury, and its production was highly regulated to maintain its value.
It's striking how much detail the medieval section provides on measurements and thread counts.
Yeah.
It gives you a real sense of the standardization and trade that must have been happening back then, almost like a quality control manual from centuries ago.
Oh.
It wasn't just an art, but a regulated industry where precision was paramount.
Indeed. This level specification was critical for consistent quality, fair trade across vast distances and ensuring the fabric performed as expected, whether for a royal garment demanding exquisite drape or a commoner's coat requiring durability. It profoundly challenges the notion that sophisticated supply chains and market segmentation are purely modern inventions. The medieval textile industry, with its intricate regulations, specific classifications, and diverse product lines, was a complex economic engine that surprisingly mirrored many aspects of today's global trade, all driven by demand for specific qualities and price points. It truly gives us a window into the organized nature of pre-industrial commerce.
What a journey so far. We've navigated the nuanced world of modern fabrics, where stretch and low maintenance are key, and then plunged into the meticulously regulated and incredibly sophisticated textile economy of the Middle Ages. It's fascinating how the core human desires for comfort, beauty, and practicality have manifested through such different materials and technologies across these eras.
It is, isn't it? We've seen how innovation in textiles isn't a recent phenomenon, but a continuous thread throughout human history. From the precision of medieval broadcloth specifications designed to prevent fraud in trade, to the engineered comfort of modern microfibers, every fabric tells a story not just of its own making, but of the society that produced and consumed it.
Yeah.
It's a testament to human ingenuity constantly adapting materials to meet evolving needs and aspirations.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of specific fabrics and their historical contexts. But the true unsung heroes of this glossary, the underlying architecture of almost every fabric we've discussed, are the fundamental weave patterns themselves.
Absolutely.
They dictate a fabric's fundamental properties, often more so than the fiber content alone.
What's truly fascinating here is that while the materials, processing techniques, and ultimate applications have changed dramatically over centuries, certain core weave structures have endured, shaping the character of textiles across millennia.
The building blocks.
Exactly. Understanding these basic weaves is absolutely essential to truly grasping a fabric's identity, as they determine its strength, its drape, its texture, and even its luster. It's the blueprint, the DNA of the fabric's physical manifestation.
Let's start with the most basic yet incredibly versatile. Tabby weave, also universally known as plain weave.
The simplest one.
It's the simplest and most fundamental way threads can interlace. Imagine a checkerboard pattern. A weft thread goes over one warp thread and then immediately under the next, repeating this across the fabric. On the return pass, it reverses, going under the threads it previously went over.
This simple, alternating interlacing pattern firmly locks the threads in place, creating a strong, often compact, and durable fabric. Its inherent simplicity is its greatest strength, as it lends itself to an incredibly wide range of materials, yarn types, and finishes, making it exceptionally versatile. Despite its straightforwardness, this fundamental weave forms the basis for everything from the sheer lightness of chiffon to the crisp durability of poplin, the airy comfort of muslin, and many types of taffeta. This demonstrates that the genius often lies not just in the fiber itself, but in its architectural arrangement.
And within that seemingly simple tabby structure, weavers found ways to create surprising variations, didn't they? Like ribbed or corded effects.
Precisely. The beauty of the plain weave is its adaptability. If weft threads are made heavier or tightened more than the warp threads, you can create distinct ribs or cords running across the fabric. A fail, for instance, is a plain weave with very fine, subtle ribs, giving it a soft yet structured feel.
Okay.
Grosgrain takes this further, featuring more pronounced, almost cord-like ribs, typically due to a much heavier weft yarn. Our source notes that in the 1800s, grosgrain was explicitly described as firm, stiff, closely woven, corded, perfect for ribbons and sturdy linings.
I know grosgrain ribbon.
Exactly. And then there's rep, distinguished by having even heavier wefts compared to cords, which often have heavier warps made of silk, wool, or blends. Rep was even famously used in early carpets, showcasing its robustness.
Wow.
Carpets, beyond simple ribs, tabbies could also be richly ornamented with elaborate brocading where extra threads are added to create patterns, or they could be chemically treated like Moor's silk, which gets its beautiful, distinctive watery pattern from being pressured between the rollers of a cylinder and the application of heat and an acidulous liquor.
That wavy pattern.
Exactly. It's astounding how much variation can come from such a seemingly basic structure, transforming it into something visually and texturally complex.
Next up, the twill weave. This one is immediately recognizable by its characteristic diagonal line or rib in the fabric visible to the eye. We see this all the time, even if we don't always realize it's a twill.
That diagonal structure provides distinct advantages that set it apart from plain weave. Twill weaves generally lead to a more durable fabric because of the staggered interlacing, which also often drapes exceptionally well and resists wrinkling more effectively.
Like denim.
Think of denim. That classic diagonal texture you see in your jeans is a twill weave, a testament to its strength and everyday utility. From our source, fabrics like tweed and flannel often use a twill weave, contributing to their robustness and characteristic texture.
Right.
A specific and particularly interesting example is gabardine twill, which has a distinct tight twill line on one side and a smoother, almost plain-looking reverse side. If it has a distinctly visible twill on both sides, it's not considered a true gabardine.
Interesting distinction.
The diagonal line may run either up to the left or up to the right, usually at about a 45 or 63-degree angle, giving it a very specific character and directionality. Other examples from our source that use twill include radzamire, semite, siamidi, sarsenati, and wool stretch, showing its broad application for everything from luxurious silks to everyday woolens.
Then there's satin weave. Our source doesn't explicitly define it as a structure, though it's consistently characterized by its lustrous appearance across various fabric descriptions, making it instantly recognizable. Since the source doesn't explicitly define its weave, could you break down for us what exactly is happening at the thread level to create that highly sought-after lustrous appearance?
The satin weave is all about maximizing smoothness and reflectivity, truly an engineering marvel for aesthetic impact. Unlike plain or twill weaves where interlacing points are frequent, the satin weave achieves its signature lustrous surface by allowing warp threads to float over several weft threads before interlacing at irregular intervals.
So the threads lie flat on top for longer.
Exactly. This minimizes interruptions on the surface, creating a very long, smooth, continuous expanse of yarn that reflects light beautifully, giving it that distinct high sheen appearance. It is the epitome of elegance and luxury in fabric, allowing for a soft hand and fluid drape. We see it in modern fabrics like cotton sateen stretch, crepe satin, duchesse, and shantung satin, and its historical prestige is evident in medieval silks like Atlas and Rousseau medieval silks that were dressed until they had a lustre to enhance their sheen, as well as the highly valued silk satins from places like Lucca. It's a weave designed for visual impact.
Beyond these big three fundamental weaves, our source mentions a few other interesting weave variations that create distinct fabric characteristics.
Yes, these are fascinating as they highlight specialized weaving techniques for specific outcomes. For instance, the Panama weave, which we discussed earlier, gives cotton canvas its characteristic raw or basket-like effect. It's essentially a variation of the plain weave where two or more warp threads cross over two or more weft threads, creating a more pronounced, often squared texture.
Okay, like a little basket.
Right. And the Batavia weave, which is a specific type of twill, is mentioned for gabardine stretch and radzamire. It's known for a slightly more pronounced, often steeper twill line. We also find the sablé weave, which is used in wool crepe and wool stretch. Sablé, derived from the French word for sand, typically creates a slightly irregular, textured, or pebbled surface, giving the fabric a unique, grainy feel and matte look.
Sablé, like sand. Got it.
Lastly, the tubular double cloth weave is used in wool double crepe. This advanced technique creates two layers of fabric simultaneously, often joined at the edges, allowing for invisible stitching and a perfectly clean, non-fuzzy look on both sides, which is prized for reversible garments or tailored pieces with impeccable finishes.
Wow, 2 layers at once.
These specialized weaves truly illustrate the depth of textile engineering beyond the basics.
So you can really see how just changing the way threads cross creates wildly different outcomes in terms of look, feel, and function. It's like a secret code woven into every piece of cloth. It dictates so much about how a fabric will perform and feel, even before you consider the fiber it's made from.
It truly is. And understanding these foundational structures helps us appreciate the nuances of fabric characteristics that go far beyond just the fiber itself. A silk can be soft and flowing as chiffon due to its plain weave, or stiff and structured as mikado, largely due to its specific double weft weave. The weave is, in essence, the fundamental DNA of the fabric's physical manifestation, determining its ultimate character and suitability for specific applications.
Okay, that makes sense.
Beyond the basic weaves, there are specific terms that consistently appear in our glossary, giving us a richer, almost sensory understanding of a fabric's identity. These are the sensory descriptors and functional attributes that truly define a fabric's personality, and what's remarkable is that they apply across both modern and medieval textiles, albeit achieved through vastly different means and technologies.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because these terms connect directly to how we experience fabrics in our daily lives. Let's explore some of the most common. starting with hand. This refers quite simply to how a fabric feels when touched. It's about that immediate tactile sensation. Is it crisp, soft, strong, fluid, or something else entirely?
Yes. The hand is a fundamental descriptor, almost like the fabric's personality as experienced through touch. Our source provides many vivid examples. For instance, cotton canvas has a quite strong hand, immediately communicating its durability and robust nature.
Right, you feel the toughness.
In contrast, crepe microfiber and modern taffeta are described with a crisp touch or crisp hand, which suggests a certain structured quality, perhaps a slight rustle when handled, indicating it will hold its form. Then you have the opposing feel. Heavy microfiber is wonderfully soft, smooth, almost velvety, and muslin boasts a fantastically soft drape, both emphasizing luxurious comfort and a gentle touch.
And for something with more body, there's the distinct structured or sustained hand. How does that differ?
Precisely. Fabrics like dogaressa, duchesse, fay, Radzimire, and Shantung satin all possess a sustained hand, which means they have body and substance.
They stand up on their own almost.
Exactly. This is often achieved due to specific artisan finishing processes, dense weaves, or the nature of the fibers themselves, such as the saracen and organza. A sustained hand tells you the fabric will have a firm structure, hold its shape well, and create a strong, defined silhouette, unlike the fluid hand of a wool crepe, which emphasizes suppleness, flow, and graceful movement.
Okay.
We also find poplin described with a fresh, very natural hand, indicating a pleasant, breathable feel, while organza has a distinctly stiff hand, intentionally maintained by its saracen content to create volume. Each hand implies a different intended use and aesthetic, informing designers how a fabric will behave and drape.
Moving from the immediate tactile feel to how a fabric interacts with gravity, let's discuss drape. This describes how a fabric hangs or falls, its flexibility and fluidity. It's about its natural flow and how it shapes itself around the body or in space.
Drape is absolutely crucial for a garment's silhouette and how it moves with the wearer. Chiffon, for example, is described as vaporous, perfect for creating delicate, overlapping effects in dresses, indicating an almost weightless, flowing quality that seems to float.
Vaporous, yeah.
Crepe satin, heavy microfiber, and silk satin stretch are all noted for their fluidity, meaning they will fall softly and gracefully, ideal for garments that flow around the body like evening dresses, slips, or flowing skirts. This fluidity creates a soft, sensual silhouette.
But on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have fabrics with a stiff or structured drape.
Indeed. Mikado, for example, is known for its stiff drape of the raw silk, which makes it excellent for bold and structural pieces like architectural wedding gowns that demand a strong, sculpted form and dramatic volume.
Doesn't want to bend much.
Right. Similarly, Dupioni is described as a rather stiff fabric that does not drape well, which immediately tells you it's best for tailored, structured clothing, think crisp jackets or stiff skirts, rather than flowing styles. In stark contrast, muslin has a fantastically soft drape, making it suitable for airy, comfortable garments, and habotai is famously thin and flowing. Even a substantial fabric like flannel is noted for its tailored drapery elegance, suggesting a substantial yet graceful fall that holds its shape while still moving with some fluidity. The drape of a fabric is a key decision point for designers.
Then there's lustre, or appearance, the sheen or reflectivity of the fabric surface. This is all about how light interacts with and plays on the fabric, creating visual depth and appeal.
This quality is highly valued, particularly in luxury textiles like silks. Cotton sateen stretch, dogaressa, duchesse, radzimire, and modern taffeta all feature a semi-lustrous aspect, offering a subtle, refined sheen rather than a blinding glare.
Not too shiny, not too dull.
Exactly. Fabrics like crepe satin have a lustrous warp, and crepe de chine has a shiny silk warp, often creating a dynamic contrast with matte elements in the weft, adding visual interest. Mikado is celebrated for being shiny and extraordinarily bright, a direct result of its unique Japanese processing that enhances silk's natural luminosity.
But not all fabrics are about maximizing shine, right? There are also beautiful matte options where the light is absorbed rather than reflected.
Absolutely. The deliberate choice of a matte finish offers a different kind of elegance. Crepe de chine, for instance, has a matte weft, intentionally contrasting with its shiny warp to create a nuanced surface. Grapon is semi-matte, offering a softer sheen, and Georgette is transparent and matte, providing a subtle, non-reflective elegance perfect for delicate layering. Organza also famously has a matte appearance, despite its transparency, maintaining a crisp, light-absorbing quality. Then there are special effects. Dupioni is often iridescent or has a dull luster, creating a unique visual texture where colors seem to shift.
Like shot silk.
Sometimes, yes. From the medieval period, rezo was a silk dressed until it had a luster, indicating an artisan process to achieve a polished or glossy finish, similar to the modern brilliance of sequins. This highlights how desired luster, whether matte or brilliant, has been a constant across centuries, with different eras employing distinct methods to achieve it.
And what about napped, brushed, or pile fabrics? These describe a fuzzy or raised surface created by manipulating the fibers after weaving.
This characteristic is all about creating warmth, a soft, inviting tactile surface, and sometimes a luxurious visual texture. Flannel is a quintessential modern example with its characteristic brushed nap, which makes it incredibly soft and warm.
Cozy flannel shirts.
Exactly. In medieval textiles, we see a rich history of such fabrics achieved through various finishing techniques. Bigelow had a shaggy, uncut nap on one side, creating a rustic, textural appeal. Bainery of Milan were specifically described as thick cotton fabrics with a napped surface, indicating their warmth and comfort. Mezzalane had a brushed and napped surface, while Pignalotti could be napped and sheared, allowing for controlled pile length and texture.
So they can make it fuzzy in different ways.
Precisely. Plush was explicitly defined by its long pile or long napped wool velvet, creating an incredibly soft, deep surface, and Siamili Pelosi were specifically made with a napped surface. These examples illustrate a consistent human desire across eras for soft, warm, and comforting textures achieved through carefully manipulating the fiber ends on the fabric's surface.
Now, two crucial terms related to how color is introduced into the fabric, which speak volumes about its quality and how it will perform. Yarn-dyed versus piece-dyed.
This distinction is very important as it tells us about the depth, integration, and often the durability of color. Yarn-dyed means the individual yarns are dyed before they're woven into fabric.
Dye the yarn first.
Right. This generally results in a richer, more integrated, and often more durable color as the dye penetrates each fiber more thoroughly. It also allows for woven-in patterns where different colored yarns create the design rather than printed pattern.
Like gingham or plaid?
Exactly. Examples from our modern glossary include dogaressa, dechus, fay, linen canvas, radzimire, and modern taffeta. Medieval examples include specific silk satins like Zitani Alexandrinio di Grana, indicating their high quality.
And piece-dyed is the opposite then, where the color is applied after the fabric is complete.
Exactly. Piece-dyed means the entire fabric is dyed after it has been woven. This method is generally more efficient for mass production and allows for greater flexibility in terms of color choices after the fabric is made.
Cheaper, maybe.
Often more cost-effective for solid colors, yes. However, it can sometimes lead to less color saturation, or the dye might not penetrate as deeply into the core of every fiber. A notable medieval example from our source is sendal, which was frequently piece-dyed, setting it apart from other silks of its time that were often yarn-dyed. This difference in dyeing methods can influence everything from color vibrancy and pattern clarity to the fabric's overall feel and longevity, showcasing how even subtle choices in the production process have significant impacts.
Lastly, a truly modern innovation, one that defines much of today's clothing: stretch, or the inclusion of elastomer. This involves synthetic fibers that provide comfort and ease of movement, something definitely not seen in medieval fabrics.
This represents a monumental divergence from historical textiles, fundamentally changing how we interact with clothing. The inclusion of elastomer, a synthetic fiber known for its excellent elasticity, superb recovery properties, and resistance to degradation, revolutionized comfort and wearability in the modern era.
Huge difference.
Oh, massive. Fabrics like cotton sateen stretch, crepe de chine stretch, gabardine stretch, pique stretch, silk satin stretch, and wool stretch all benefit immensely from this innovation. It allows for garments that move seamlessly with the wearer, retain their shape beautifully throughout the day, and offer unprecedented levels of comfort and freedom of movement that medieval textiles, relying solely on natural fiber elasticity and weave structure, simply couldn't achieve.
Right.
It reflects a profound shift towards more active, dynamic, and comfort-focused lifestyles, directly influencing modern fashion design and consumer expectations.
So these specific terms aren't just technical jargon. They are the language that allows designers, producers, and ultimately consumers to truly understand and differentiate fabrics, even across centuries. They translate the raw material and its construction into a tangible sensory experience, guiding our choices and appreciation.
Exactly. And what's particularly insightful is seeing how the core intent creating a specific feel, look, or performance remains constant throughout human history, even as the materials and technologies evolve dramatically. This comprehensive glossary isn't just a collection of definitions. It's a window into the values, innovations, and constant human ingenuity of different eras, showing how we've consistently strived to transform simple fibers into extraordinary textiles that meet our evolving needs and desires.
Wow. What a deep dive into the world of fabrics. We've journeyed through centuries of textile innovation, from the earliest known weaves and the meticulous historical regulations of medieval broadcloth, to the sophisticated microfibers and stretch fabrics that define our modern wardrobes. We've seen how names, origins, and intricate characteristics intertwine to tell a much larger story than just what something is made of.
Indeed. We've unpacked how a fabric's hand defines its tactile feel, its drape dictates its graceful flow, and its luster creates its visual appeal.
Yeah.
From the labor-intensive, precise production of medieval silks like samite, which often used precious threads and complex weaves for elite wear too, the comfortable functionality of modern stretch wool engineered for everyday performance.
Yeah.
The evolution of textiles is a powerful testament to human ingenuity and the constant pursuit of both luxury and practicality.
Yeah, we've seen how fundamental terms like thread count and yarn dyed have deep historical roots that are still critically relevant today, guiding quality and aesthetic choices.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, groundbreaking innovations like the integration of elastomer speak directly to our modern desire for unprecedented comfort, shape retention, and performance in clothing. It's truly a sweeping journey from the very raw fibers painstakingly transformed to the finished garment, showing how every thread tells a tale of its time.
This deep dive into fabric terms shows us that textiles are far more than just materials for clothing or decor. They are historical documents, economic indicators, and artistic expressions, each woven with layers of meaning and purpose that profoundly reflect the societies and cultures that created them, from the daily wear of a medieval commoner to the high fashion of a modern runway.
So next time you feel the texture of your shirt, admire a beautifully draped curtain, or even just consider the composition of your backpack, consider this provocative thought. How does this fabric, through its very fibers, its specific weave, and its finishing, tell a story about the era and culture that created it? What hidden stories are woven into the very clothes and materials we interact with every day, connecting us to a rich tapestry of human history and relentless innovation?